Voin explodes into the scene, a first-person roguelike RPG dripping with fast-paced combat and an old-school charm. Built by a lone developer using Unreal Engine 5, it channels the brutality of classic hack and slash with a pixelated art style that will take you back to the old days. Expect an idyllic landscape bathed in a warm glow, a stark contrast to the gore that awaits you. This unique blend inspired by the luminous paintings of Albert Bierstadt, which creates an atmosphere both beautiful and deadly. Voin's playtest is now open, and I don't know for how long, so hop into the test now to test your skills in brutality and experience the thrill of this solo developed masterpiece. Moving on to the gameplay, let's start with the good stuff. Combat. Voin throws you right into the thick of it as a first-person hack and slash master. Each swing of your weapon feels weighty and satisfying, making every fight very impactful. But don't get too cocky, because enemies will telegraph their attacks, which gives them an indicator that they glow in yellow, letting you know to dodge. But mastering the perfect dodge with its bullet time effect is very key to survival, and I'll explain that a little later. Moving on to the hub city and all the other hub-based parts of the game, in between the bloody, gory adventures, you will find solace in the game's hub world called the Vestibule. Think Dark Souls Fire Lake Shrine, but with a pixelated twist. Here you can level up, which right now it is purely visuals only, but in the future updates, Nokita does promise that there will be like stat boosts and other forms of features like that. You can also craft and upgrade gear, or you can be able to chat with NPCs. Very Souls-like, it definitely hits home with that Souls-like feeling. But let's move on to the other aspect of Voin, which is the roguelike runs. Voin embraces the roguelike genre with a twist. You only get 4 hits before succumbing to the sweet abyss. For those of you that is not familiar with roguelikes, death is permanent and all of your hard-earned loot vanishes away every new death. The pressures of the multiple enemy types, while some charge after you, you got some that blitz in towards you, got some guys that stay in the back that shoots projectiles at you. There's all many ways for you to fail, and with every decision counting as you explore randomly generated open world levels, each with its very own challenges to boot. To keep things quite interesting though, each run throws you into a different part of the overall world, ensuring that you will always have a fresh experience every time you come across this world. Now during playtests, you can only play in one specific world, which is called the Hadrocon, and you'll get very well adept to this area. The way the game looks and the pixels, I'll get to that later, it looks amazing. I'm kind of fanboying at the moment for the overall art style. But let's talk about the risk and reward. Now, like I said before, this is a roguelike. It has huge high risk, high rewards. There's a constant push and pull between exploration and safety. You found a shiny new weapon or a brand new item, you gotta cleanse it before being able to use it. Which, how do you cleanse these? You have to go back home. Well, how do I return home? You must summon a portal from anywhere, of course, so you just gotta look up. Once you look up, you can be able to cast a portal. But here's the problem. By casting that portal, it gets dropped in a random location of the map that you must venture to, adding a whole new layer of risk to your run. Keep in mind, healing is only available back at the hub, and if you are on one heart and you need to make your way over, you better be a god at dodging and all that good stuff, because it will get ever so difficult. So venturing deep into the world forces you to must manage your health wisely, and don't forget, you only have 4 hits before it's GG. Now, I do want to talk about a little bit about the visuals and sound design. Like I said, this game this game looks amazing for what it is. It has this retro charm, but with that grittiness or that goriness behind it. Voin's visuals are a fascinating mix. The world of Hadrocon feels like a sprawling medieval landscape, beautifully rendered with a distinct pixelated style. Enemies, on the other hand, have a unique low frame rate animation that adds to the game's dark and gritty atmosphere. Let's talk a little bit about the immersive soundscape. The sound design in Voin is top notch, right? The dev, he did a phenomenal job at the sounds. The clanging of your weapon, the groans and the moans, it's very chilling that the enemies kind of give off when you get nearby. Every sound overall complements the on-screen action perfectly, creating a truly immersive experience. Moving on to our final bits and pieces about this little review is that let's talk about the verdict and the roadmap. So first, this game has a huge early access potential. It's important to remember that Voin is still technically in early access, but it's more like a playtest and not a full. It will be leaving at some point. But the core gameplay loop is incredibly fun. There's room for improvement. The developers do have a clear roadmap in mind, promising a vast array of content in the future, including multiple explorable worlds, skill trees for character progression, deeper narrative story, and more enemy variety types, and an expanded itemization with different weapon types. All of these will add to the awesomeness of Voin, making it just more, more manageable, more playable. Like I say, it can get a little bit of bland at times because we know we're only working with half of what the game can actually offer at this exact moment. But even in its early stages, Voin is a game with immense potential. The solo developer Nokita behind it deserves a ton of credit for creating such a compelling and brutal experience. If you're looking for a hardcore roguelike adventure with satisfying combat, a unique aesthetic, Voin is definitely worth checking out. But just be prepared to die a lot. And when I say a lot, it gets frustrating, but you get that need to want to be able to do it some more, and I just love it. But thanks for joining me on this exploration of Voin. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about this solo developed gem. Do you crave the challenge of a roguelike with brutal permadeath, or would you recommend Voin to others? But as always, it's been your host, Chaos TV, here at Chaotic Inc., signing out. Peace.
I make a manifest. I don't sleep, that's so weak. Don't plan to rest. I'm from a hood where you die if you don't pack a vest. No culinary degrees, but whipping crack the best. Chefing, hard times taught lessons. Praying every night to pull up in park Benzes. What's my home is what you call trenches. You wouldn't last a day seeing life through all lenses. It's all tension, no sun, and rain and plenty. Full-time job, still can never make a penny.